William Kamkwamba grew up in a village where electricity was a luxury few could afford. William's world was defined by a simple but undeniable truth. The people around him were struggling. With every passing day, they battled the same challenges: poverty, drought, and a lack of resources that seemed insurmountable. Like many others, William's family worked hard to get by, but they had no access to the modern technologies that could make life easier. They relied on traditional farming, and when the rains didn't come, the crops wouldn't grow. The cycle of hardship continued, but William was different. Even as a child, he was curious. He had an insatiable thirst for knowledge and a mind that constantly questioned the world around him. He loved to tinker with things, to break them apart and figure out how they worked. His curiosity was not just a passing interest. It was a deep desire to understand, to discover solutions to problems that seemed too big to solve. And though he had no formal education, he would not let this stop him. One day, as he walked through his village, he noticed something: a scrap of metal, a piece of discarded plastic, a discarded bicycle wheel. In that moment, William's mind began to race. He had seen pictures of wind turbines in a book at the local library, and something about them struck a chord with him. Wind power, using the very force of nature to generate energy, could be the answer to his village's problems. The idea took root in his mind. With no tools, no funding, and no formal training in engineering, William began to work. He started scavenging for discarded materials, bits of metal, plastic, and even old motorcycle parts. Piece by piece, he constructed his wind turbine, using only the limited resources available to him. His hands were rough from the labor, his clothes were torn and dirty, but his spirit remained unbroken. William's wind turbine was not the work of a professional engineer. It wasn't perfect, and it wasn't built with high-tech tools or materials, but it worked. The turbine began to spin, catching the wind and generating electricity. For the first time in his life, William's village saw a glimpse of a brighter future. The lights began to glow in homes that had never known electricity, and hope began to spread like wildfire. Word of William's incredible achievements spread quickly throughout the village. People came from miles around to see this young boy's invention, to witness a miracle made from scraps and dreams. They saw that something once thought impossible was now within reach. A single turbine, built with the power of ingenuity and persistence, had brought light to a village. But William didn't stop there. He knew that one wind turbine was not enough to change the future of his community. He realized that renewable energy, solar and wind power, could transform the lives of every person in his village. He began to teach others, to share his knowledge, and to show them how they, too, could harness the power of the sun and wind. As William's message spread, more and more people began to build their own wind turbines and solar panels. They no longer depended on expensive and unreliable sources of energy. They took charge of their own futures. They learned to grow food even in the harshest conditions, powered by the energy they generated themselves. The village transformed from a place of struggle to a place of innovation. William's work didn't go unnoticed. His story traveled beyond the borders of his village, reaching people around the world. Scientists, engineers, and organizations that supported renewable energy recognized his brilliance and offered their help. But to William, the true reward was seeing his community change. He didn't need the accolades or the recognition. He had already changed everything that mattered. Years later, William Kamkwamba would become an internationally recognized innovator, a symbol of what is possible when a young mind is driven by curiosity, determination, and a desire to make the world a better place. He would go on to study at prestigious institutions, sharing his story with the world and continuing to inspire others to think differently, to dream bigger, and to act. But for William, the real achievement was not the fame or the recognition. It was seeing his village thrive. It was knowing that he had given people the tools they needed to create a future for themselves. one powered by the very forces of nature. It was about empowering others to believe that they too could change the world.